Hello, everybody. Welcome to Let's Talk Football. My name is John Halpin alongside Chris Palmer. Welcome to week 8, my friend.
My God, week 7 was such a fucking heart wrench.
What a slate of games we had this week. CP, are you ready to just start the recap?
Yeah, this is gonna be a rough one.
Let's get right into it. Starting with Thursday Night Football, Steelers against the Bengals, with Joe Flacco starting at the helm, beating Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers 33 to 31. CP, I'll just let you take the floor, my friend. This was a fun game to watch, but god damn.
So, the only thing I really want to say here is I don't blame Aaron Rodgers for this. Aaron Rodgers was able to do what he made a career of, and that's pulling rabbits out of his hat and making something happen with that
Mhm.
Pat Fryermuth touchdown at the end. That was him pulling a rabbit out of his hat and making magic happen. I don't blame him. We went up by one with, I think it was like 2 minutes and 30 some odd seconds left. And I said to myself, Joe Flacco's on the other side. He has made a career of making fits out of Mike Tomlin in the fourth quarter. And then you look on the other side, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins have been absolutely routing our secondary for 4 quarters straight. Well, sorry, 3 1/4, because for the first quarter and maybe the second defensive drive of the second quarter, we were doing okay, doing the thing that we needed to, and that was sending 1 to 2 extra men every play. And then we stopped. And that was when all you got to do is give Joe Flacco a competent receiver and he will put the ball in his hands. It is known fact. He does not need stars to succeed. He's made a career of doing it with journeyman,
Mhm.
and now he has 2 stars. And when you have 2 stars in the open field, this is what happens. So while I don't blame Aaron Rodgers, I blame the 6 quote unquote all pro defensemen that we have. None of you made a play. None of you. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, Jalen Ramsey. None of you. Patrick Queen. None of you. Time came for a defensive stop from a defensive franchise ran by a defensive coach. Called on for the defense that I have openly said concerns me this year. Then you fall flat on your back and let one of the worst teams in the league march down the field in 2 minutes and 30 some odd seconds and win the game by 2 fucking points. There's nothing else to say except that is disgusting. All the concern at the beginning of the year was looking at Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers can still play football. He may be a little slower, maybe a little worse for wear. He can still throw touchdowns. That's what we signed him for the 1 year for, throw touchdowns. Our offensive line is playing okay. They're on the same page. First quarter, we were on the same page on both sides of the ball again. Sending 2 extra guys, it looked like a remnants of an older football squad from Pittsburgh. Physical, running, swarming to the ball. Come halfway through the second quarter, we stopped sending an extra man. So Joe Flacco was able to set his feet, and Jalen Ramsey, pretty sure he got called for 4 out of the 6 pass interference calls. You know what that tells me? You cannot keep up with either T. Higgins or Jamar Chase, because it didn't matter where you were. You were caught and you were dusted. 4 out of the 6. We were supposed to have this, I think the second or third most takeaways as a defense. Joe Flacco didn't throw 1 interception.
Nope.
Second most takeaways in the league. He is the second oldest quarterback in the league. You couldn't make 1 play. I don't know what to say. Truly, I don't.
Well,
It's concerning.
you said all the right things. You said all the right things, and I 100% agree with you that Aaron Rodgers is playing fine. He's doing probably better than what most people expected, and it's like the offense is fine. I'm not too worried about it. The defense is what's concerning. I think this is what we saw for or were expected out of the Steelers early on, where it's like that defense, right? We've expected better defenses for like what Mike Tomlin is known for. But the truth of the matter is like when the moment called for them to prove to themselves that they are what we expect them to be, they proved otherwise. And they proved that they're probably not serious contenders for the Super Bowl. And I think that that was proven on Thursday. And the speculation before that, because they were playing well, but being how bad, like again, that defense is, and coming from a Ravens fan who's seen pretty bad defense this year, that'll kill you in the playoffs. That'll kill you against the contending teams like Mahomes, Allen. They'll get you. I also think first was Joe Flacco proved he's a Hall of Famer. And I think that that was the game where not Joe Flacco fans such as myself and like many others from many other teams knew he was great. But doing that on a prime time stage against a division rival, the story just seemed great. And he just proved that he could still do it at 40 years old. I think he really kind of cemented himself as a Hall of Famer, maybe not first ballot, but at some point, because he's just playing still elite level football. Will he do it for the rest of the year? Probably not.
No.
But man, what a game to see. What'd you say?
I said no, he won't. He will not do it for the rest of the
Yeah.
year. Wow, there seems to be a little bit of interference between us right now.
Yeah, a little bit of a delay, but that's okay. But I think, again, this was a very telling game for both teams. And for the Steelers, it's like, man, the most expensive defense of the league. It's like you gotta prove it, man. Especially when the moment calls for it and you're expected to beat this division rival.
And what's crazy is, again, like you were just saying with Joe Flacco, is he is a Hall of Famer, and he has. I agree with you that he has shown it on Thursday, but he showed it again on Thursday. Because let's not forget, he has spent his entire career in the AFC North.
Not his entire career, no, but like a good bulk of
Where
it.
did he
Yes.
go in between? Where did he
So
go
he
in
went
between
to-
Cleveland and Cincy?
So he went to the Broncos right after he left Baltimore.
Oh, that's
Then
right. He did
on-
go to the
Then he was on the
Broncos.
Jets for a few years. Then he went to the Colts,
Forgot about that.
and then now the
Wasn't he a
Browns.
journeyman like that?
Yes, and then back to the Colts. No, sorry, Colts, Browns, back to Colts, and then now
Back to Browns,
Browns since
as
back
well.
to Browns, back to Cincinnati. So he's been that journeyman since leaving Baltimore.
Oh,
but-
but he's spent 85% of his career in the AFC North.
A good percentage. Yeah, absolutely.
Meaning he spent majority of his career playing against Mike Tomlin.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
He knows.
Well,
Mike
the
Tomlin.
mutual
Mike
respect is
Tomlin
there.
knows him.
I spent most of my life watching Steelers games, watching Joe Flacco pick apart our defenses when there's the minor flaws. We have major flaws on our defense. And of course, he is a seasoned veteran now. He is, of course, post-prime. No, I do not expect this level of play with him to continue throughout the rest of the year, especially in Cincinnati. This was a lightning in the bottle moment for his offensive line because we had no pass rush. I still expect Joe Flacco to be running for the rest of the season, running for his life, for a good portion of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cincinnati's not sustainable. That's why I don't think that anyone really takes them as serious contenders in the AFC North. But I think with Flacco there, it definitely makes them very entertaining. Maybe, and I just thought of this, like speculating, maybe the Steelers found their quarterback for next year after Aaron Rodgers is gone. Who knows? Could you imagine? Could you
don't
fucking imagine?
respectfully, I don't want that.
I know.
Respectfully, I
But
just
you didn't
don't
even want
that.
the Rodgers too, and they did.
I didn't want it year one.
Yeah.
I didn't want it this year. I didn't understand they did it, and I can deal with it for a year because in that loss he decided to fucking crash out on two people on offense.
Mhm.
I understand Broderick Jones, joke, not a joke. You fucking big dummy. The man's 40.
Was that Broderick Jones that tackled him?
Yes, that was fucking Broderick Jones that tackled him. You fucking big dummy.
That's
You were
too funny.
322 pounds. Jumping on a 218-pound 40-year-old who's not looking at you. He was totally valid in fucking crashing out on you.
I don't blame him, but
I don't blame
the
him.
still image of him that's hilarious though. I fucking love
Yeah.
it.
Yes, that was Broderick Jones. He has been bonehead. Now, move on from it. In the game, you got mad at Jalen Warren for, I guess, panic buttoning and tossing a flea flicker that wasn't designed to be a flea flicker. You said you guys were not on the same page. This is when you can look at a quarterback and be like, that one's on you, pal.
Mhm.
Because you got to communicate to your teammates what the fucking play is. So while not everything falls at the quarterback's feet, the offense being on the same play, on the same page before they leave the huddle, that's the quarterback's job.
It is.
That is the quarterback's job.
Mhm.
So that one falls at Aaron Rodgers' feet, and he knows that.
And I hope Tomlin keeps him accountable for that too. Where it's like, look, this is your offense, and you are responsible for making sure everyone understands their responsibilities. And that's how the best offenses work, where everyone knows, and the best teams work, where everyone knows their job. That was Bill Belichick's whole mantra: was do your job. And
Right.
that's just one of the responsibilities.
little
that come
words.
with it. I feel like we need to be talking Cincinnati soon because there's a lot happening there, and we'll probably get back to the Steelers at some point. But man, this was a very interesting game for Thursday night, which is crazy. But that's just what started off the week. Then we have Sunday's slate of games, starting with London. Right, we have the Rams and the Jags, 35-7 Rams over Jags. This is the London game that we expected to see this year.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure this came at the expense of Puka Nakua. I'm pretty sure he's out now for the next couple weeks with an injury.
I believe you're right. So we'll have to keep an eye on him and the Rams going forward. But This was a good win for the Rams. At the current moment, too, all three out of the four NFC West teams are 5-2, which is pretty crazy to think about.
That is pretty wild.
So let's get to Sunday's slate of games at 1 o'clock, starting with the Eagles and the Vikings. And the Eagles getting the win 28-22. This was a great passing effort by the Eagles. Jalen Hurts really just showcasing their talent. However, I think the big flaw in Philly still emerged where they can't run the ball because of their play design. And there were multiple instances of them running the same exact play on the same exact drive.
Yeah, that's unfortunate because there's been a spiraling concept with Nick Sirianni. They always talk about system quarterbacks. There's like a phrase going around about a system head coach where the head coach is only as good as their offensive coordinator because he's designing the plays, you're just calling them.
Mm-hmm.
This is Nick Sirianni's playbook right now because the offensive coordinator is new. This is not last year's offensive coordinator who was coming up with all the complex run styles.
Mm-hmm.
So every year that Nick Sirianni has had a great offensive coordinator, they have a great run game. Now they have a brand new offensive coordinator. It's running off of Nick Sirianni's playbook, and their run game is muted. I don't necessarily follow the narrative behind it, but I can see why it's building. You know what I mean? Why? Because there's not much of a pulse at the halfway point for the Eagles offense.
Mm-hmm.
There's no say as to who they are. We know they can win games. They're calculated. They're very talented. They're loaded with superstars. Jalen Hurts is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, and he continues to prove people wrong. But there's always the looming factor that other shoe can and will drop with that offense, and it's seemingly dropping with their run game.
Exactly. And that was very well said because I agree pretty much with everything that you said. The responsibility of the offense falls onto the head coach. I know because we talked about it a bunch of times last year too, or sorry, a couple years ago when
Matt Canada was the offensive coordinator.
Matt Canada,
right?
But I remember saying that, look, ultimately it falls at the feet of Mike Tomlin because you're putting your trust in your offensive coordinator and you're trusting him to make the decisions. It's like you're essentially the one green lighting them every time.
Right.
So for Nick Sirianni, it's like if you're green lighting running plays that the defense can read and understand and will just fix what they need to do on the same drive, it's no wonder that you're struggling late in games because that halftime is critical for the defense to just look at the iPad, be like, look, they're literally doing this play. This is how you're going to protect against it. And there's no variation that gives them any spark. That's why Saquon's been very muted this year, as you said before. And it's not his fault. It's not Jalen Hurts' fault. It's what's been coming in. And shit, man, I trust Jalen Hurts to just make audible calls and just fucking call it at that point. But
yeah, but that only goes so far when the playbook itself is like rudimentary compared to what it was last year. Last year it was so complex because there were hidden plays everywhere.
Yep.
You didn't know where the ball was going to go. Now they're very linear. They're almost like a one-way team. When they line up, no one, offense and defense alike, no one moves, no one talks, no one does nothing. Jason Kelce was the communicator on that team, and it shows. He was the one that got everyone talking. And in his absence, there is now silence on that line of scrimmage, and it shows. No one's talking on who to block. No one's talking on where to go. No one's trying to fake out the defensive line on the lineup. No one's doing nothing. No one's making dummy calls. No one's doing anything. They're just lining up, saying go, and doing it rinse and repeat. And it's working because, again, the talent load is crazy. But come halftime, like you said, you have an hour and a half worth of material now. They're not hiding anything. Go and get them.
Mm-hmm.
Go and get them. And it's that easy.
Yep. This is, again, Philly. We've really kind of come to understand why they are not the same team as last year. And it really shows that when a team loses their coordinators, it changes the team. And we saw it even 2 years ago with Philly when they had a different set of coordinators. And then last year they brought Vic Fangio and Kellen Moore. And now Kellen Moore left to head coach the Saints, and they got a new OC. Vic Fangio stayed. He knows what's up. But Nick Sirianni, man, this offensive dilemma is your responsibility. And if it's not fixed soon, then the Eagles could really kind of get themselves out of playoff contention. But I wouldn't expect them to, but it's very possible. We have seen teams collapse mid-season.
Coasting on offense will not get them much further.
Straight to the point, which is exactly it. So, great matchup between the Eagles and the Vikings. But let's move on to Tennessee with the New England Patriots and Mike Vrabel beating his former team, the Tennessee Titans, 31-15. But man, the Patriots are emerging right now, and we'll get more into them this episode. But this is really fun to see. Mike Vrabel has really found a good spot in New England.
Yeah, but you look over in Tennessee and it is upsetting to watch, and it's upsetting to know that going into this game, the Titans dialed back the complexity of their playbook for Cam Ward to understand, and he still struggled.
Mm-hmm.
I understand it's a full team thing, but he is actively struggling on performing plays.
Mm-hmm.
So while I love, you and I both, we love some Cam Ward. He has a very articulate way of talking on the panel. He can play. From what it looks like, he can really. He has a strong arm. His ball IQ, his quarterback IQ seems to be a lot lower than what was perceived. If the Titans offense needs to be dialed back and you still struggle against a still rebuilding team that is emerging on offense, but their defense really still isn't anything to be threatened about. This was a game to hone your skills on against that defense. You could have shown something here and struggled. That's the concerning idea. That's the concerning thought here. How low is Cam Ward's floor at this point?
Yeah, it's tough because
everyone's looking at the ceiling because he's great at talking, but it's how low is his floor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's tough to see Titans games right now, but there's a lot going against this team right now. A week ago, they fired their head coach, Brian Callahan. They have an interim head coach who may not know what he's doing. They may not put the team at a good chance to succeed, and they're going up against teams that are really good, especially now with the Patriots. That's a tall order, even for the Bills to face at this point. Crazy to think about. But the Titans there's a lot going against the Titans. And I don't really, as much as I don't want to see them struggling as they are, the fact of the matter is they just are bad all around. But can that change? Absolutely. I think that it starts with the offseason decision to get the right head coach for Cam Ward and for the players. I'm interested to see who the Titans are willing to give that head coach a chance, but that's really going to determine the trajectory of not only Cam Ward, but the rest of this team.
They need it, and they need it now, really, is what it is. But I hope, like you said, this run interim to the end of the year, stay healthy, and then make the right decision in the offseason.
Yes.
No team has ever prospered from hiring and firing a coach in the same season.
Well, this was Brian Callahan's second year as a head coach. So
no, but I mean like firing one mid-season and rehiring another coach before the season's end.
Yeah, no, that doesn't work out.
That no team ever prospers from that.
Exactly. So we'll have to keep an eye on both the Patriots and the Titans going forward. Let's move to New York, where we have the Ugly Bowl between the Carolina Panthers and the New York Jets. Panthers winning 13-6. Jets still remain the only winless team in the league.
The only silver lining here is the Jets have a bye week next week.
The fans
they can't
have mercy next week.
Right. They have a week of leniency.
Actually, no.
The Panthers.
I'm sorry, they don't have their bye next
2
week.
weeks.
2 weeks, yes.
Week 9. Week 9. Panthers being able to string together a couple wins.
Yeah.
Strike me impressed.
I mean, much like we saw, again, from Bryce Young, right? He struggled immensely his rookie year. And I think Dan Canales, it's tough to say if he's still the right fit in Carolina. I'd like to think so. I'd like to think that give him more time, he can really resonate. Because for me, you know me, I like to give a coach 3 years. And anything more than that, it's like to see their vision throughout, that's important. Jets, man, is tough. Carolina, I'd like to see you win more. This is an ugly win, but it's still a win nonetheless, and it's a win more than the Ravens have. Take it. So let's move to Miami and Cleveland, where the Cleveland Browns stuffed the Miami Dolphins 31-6. It is rough in Miami right now. It is really rough in Miami.
I see fire sale happening in Miami. It's coming. Brace yourselves. Everyone's going. McDaniels is going. Tua is going. Probably Tyreek. They may keep Waddle. Fire sale is on the way in Miami.
There's big change coming around the corner for Miami. I'm interested to see when the shoe drops, when they get rid of Mike McDaniel, but it seems that his time in Miami is pretty much over. And then
it'll be before the trade deadline.
What, next week?
Yeah, I think so. I think he has until Wednesday of next week. He has this Sunday and that is it.
Well, this Sunday he's going to Atlanta, so that's going to be a tough ask for the Dolphins to get win number 2 to save Mike McDaniel's job. But we'll see. I mean, he'll make a good OC somewhere else. I'm pretty confident in that.
Maybe a QB
Cleveland.
coach somewhere.
Exactly. Yeah. He'll definitely have his place in the NFL, and I'm totally fine with that. And I was telling T before, look, when your head coach starts to get philosophical when you're losing, it's a bad season.
Well, week 1 team meeting, players only meeting.
Yeah, that's not a good
Like,
sign.
no, we're about to start pointing fingers week 1.
Mm-hmm.
So the tone is set from there.
Oh, man, it is looking rough in Miami, and we're probably going to have to unpack that box soon enough.
Yeah, we got to open that drawer.
So let's move to Chicago, where we have the New Orleans Saints and the Bears beating the Saints 26-14. I gotta say, the Bears really found their identity in the run game, and we'll talk more Bears this episode. But DeAndre Swift, man, killing it in Chicago.
Like me some DeAndre Swift, man, but the Saints, another team that is just in total shambles and disarray.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening? I was seeing that they were talking about getting rid of Olave before the trade deadline. Their fire sale coming to New Orleans too. Here it comes. There's going to be multiple fire sales at the end of this year. You watch.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of coaching changes, a lot of player changes from a lot of different organizations that we kind of expected and also kind of not expected throughout the year. So, but New Orleans, again, we didn't really have high expectations for them. We talked with Kev early on about their woes and their struggles and why they are as they are. But it is for Saints fans and Kev. I'm sorry, mate. It's still a long season and it's only week 8 now. But we're
9
almost
weeks
halfway,
left.
so that's small
Almost
silver
there.
lining. Oh man, you know who's also having it rough? Raiders fans. The Raiders got stuffed by the Chiefs in Arrowhead, 31-0. Another shutout this year. It is not looking good in Vegas either. And I feel for Ashton Genty, man. I really feel for him.
I feel so bad for him. But did you see the clip of the first regular season snap Kenny Pickett took as a Las Vegas Raider?
I did not.
Because
No.
he played in this game. He went in garbage
that's
time.
funny.
First snap, fumble. Under center, fumble. This man is still wearing 2 gloves under
That's-
center and bobbled the ball. The Super Bowl champion Kenny
That's
Pickett.
Super Bowl champion Kenny Pickett.
I love it.
You put some respect
love
on that
it.
man's name.
He is a
NBA
Super Bowl champion.
Lid right there.
Oh my God. Actually, that's NBA champion Nate Robinson for you.
I'm like,
Remember, he was on the bench for that Celtics team.
bro, what a coast. What a coast. Big shout out to Kenny Pickett, though.
Shout out Kenny Pickett, bro.
But, man.
Good on you. But it is game on in Kansas City, man. This is another 30-point
look
game
dangerous.
for Kansas City.
The Chiefs look scary right now, and I think it's fair to say that they really kind of proved to people now what's like, oh, they're not having offensive struggles like they had last year. They're actually finding their groove, and that's the scary part. Is when a Chiefs team is clicking on all cylinders, we'll probably be watching a good amount of them in January.
Well, that was what I was saying a couple weeks back. It was like, I hope this isn't signs of more to come. This is another consistent 30-point game for them, and if they figured it out again, the AFC is in trouble. Because they already had it figured out on defense. Their defense is rather good this year.
Mm-hmm.
But now they've clearly figured out their issues and gotten over it on offense, and now they're firing on all cylinders. And what bodes ill for the NFL bodes ill for the NFL fans, and the protectors of the AFC have officially woken up.
Yep. So we'll be seeing a lot of red going forward. But you know who's another team I want to see in the playoffs? Big Blue in Indianapolis, and Danny Dimes, and they had a massive win over the Chargers. 38-24. The Colts are 6-1 and leading the AFC right now. Who would have fucking thought?
Fucking Indiana Jones, bro, putting that ball on a bullwhip and letting it rip, boy.
Mm-hmm.
He is a savage. But like I said last week, this game was won and lost on third down.
Mm-hmm.
Justin Herbert, 2 bad interceptions, both happened on 3rd and 7. Call it a coincidence. You went 8 for 15 on third down. You almost quadrupled your season total going into this game. Call it a coincidence. There's problems in LA when it comes to third down completion.
Oh, yeah. And you brought it up last week, and it kind of proved itself true this week. And this upcoming week, they play the Vikings on Thursday Night Football. So the spotlight will be on them. And if they expose themselves in front of a national audience, they might play themselves out of playoff contention. But we'll have to see going forward. But they have a bright spotlight ahead of them this week. But let's move to Denver, where we probably had one of game of the year contention in the Giants and the Broncos making an 18-point comeback in the fourth, taking the lead. Giants take the lead, and then they go down. Denver goes down the field, kicks a game-winning field goal. Bo Nix, man, 33 points in the fourth quarter. What a game to watch! If no one watched this game, I would highly recommend the highlights and just skip to the fourth quarter because it's a whole different game there.
How about scoring 20 in the final 6 minutes?
Insane.
6 minutes. But shout out Bo Nix, but I'm also going to say shout out to their linebacker he caused the disruption that caused the Jackson Dart interception. You go back and watch that interception. His name defeats me right now. I think it's Livingston or something on the middle linebacker in Denver. He had to fill, and when I tell you he blasted Cam Scatterboo out of his shoes, we've been praising Cam Scatterboo. No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
We've been saying it all season that Cam Scatterboo is one of the most physical people on the field. This young man hit Cam Scatterboo out of his shoes into Jackson Dart, causing the interception. Plays happen everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And this year is nothing different. That is the game-changing play because that was going to be an unbelievable drive by the Giants. It was about to turn into something crazy because that ball was not supposed to go there. It was supposed to go about 10 yards downfield to a wide open receiver.
Mm-hmm.
But he panicked and took about 4 steps forward and underthrew it.
I'm really glad we talked about this game last week because I think you and I when we spoke last week, it's like, look, that defense matches very well and they are very opportunistic. And when the time came and they needed to step up and made a play, they did. And that was a complete team win in the fourth. Absolutely insane game. But man, I don't want to discredit the Giants because man, they played great. They played great. They played phenomenal. And of course, they're going to want their kicker's head on a pike. So be it.
They fired him already.
Yeah, exactly. He's not welcome in New York anymore. But I think this Giants team, despite losing, this Giants team looks good. And I think that the Giants have a very bright future ahead of them with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterboo. I can't wait to see them with Malik Neighbors next year. And then seeing how that defense, if they step up, then the NFC East just got a whole lot more interesting.
You want to hear a fucking interesting stat that I saw the other day with Denver? Right now, they lead the league with 30 sacks.
Yep.
They are on pace for an 87 sack season.
Mm-hmm.
That would shatter the all-time record by 15, 72 by the 1984 Chicago Bears.
Yep. I'm guessing they'll probably regress to the means at some point. I don't think they'll get to that point, but man, they are looking like as ferocious as that defense, man. They are attacking and they are, if they finish the year
unbelievable to watch.
With like 60 sacks, that'd be incredible. 70 sacks, again, even more. And then if they break the record, that'd be great. But man, this Denver defense is really finding their footing.
They are nothing to be trifled with.
Mm-hmm. So I can't wait for the collision course between the Chiefs and the Broncos, man. It's going to make the AFC West a lot more interesting, and I'm excited to see those games ahead. And we'll probably talk one of those games when the time comes. But this, again, has been an interesting season. This season is drunk. But let's move to another drunk game in the Packers and the Cardinals, and the Packers having to make the comeback against the Cardinals, winning 27-22. But man, they really felt pressure that I don't think that they're really comfortable with, especially by a team where it's like, oh, you should have stuffed them out early.
How about Jacoby Brissett throwing for almost fucking 300 yards, 279 and 2 touchdowns, and almost 70% completion rate, showing the world that this offense can play football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, close loss, but having a fist fight with the fucking NFC juggernauts. So good on you. Good loss. That's a good loss.
For the Cardinals, it's going to be a little tough. Again, like we said earlier, 3 out of the 4 teams in the NFC West are 5-2. Cardinals are 2-5 at the moment, and it's going to be a tough hill for them to climb. being how the rest of their division is. But again, as we've said before, for many, many years, Arizona is a scrappy team, and they're willing to scrap against anyone.
Yeah, but they got to start turning them scraps into W's.
They should.
They have to.
And well, mhm. They have to if they want to be in contention for anything. But we'll have to keep an eye on the Cardinals going forward, and definitely with the Packers going forward the rest of the season. Let's move to Dallas, where the Commanders and the Cowboys met for a division rival game, and the Cowboys beating the Commanders 4-22. It was an absolute blowout by the Cowboys. Once they hit their foot on the gas, they never look back. And Dak playing some of his best football.
You see, this is why I would personally hate to be a Cowboys fan.
Mm-hmm.
Because 1 week they play like this, and then 1 week they fucking lose to Atlanta in really fucking poor fashion. On top of the playoff history, this shit right here would piss me off worse than fucking playing bad consistently. Because I wouldn't know how to fucking talk about my team. How is my team? I don't fucking know. They're either going to score 40 or nothing.
Pretty much. Like that's the whole team right now. It's like it's just Dak throwing like bombs, and they're doing it. And this is like at least the fourth game this season that they've scored 40 or more, and they are
for sure
proving themselves on offense. Man, if only they had a star player on defense to really shore themselves up, they could really be in serious contenders. But
I wonder.
But I will say again, I do agree with you where if I was a Cowboys fan, this shit would piss me off. It pissed me off because it gave me hope. And to think like, oh, well, this was a team that we played against, our division rival, who went to the NFC Championship last year. And we just smoked them. And it really, I'm sure Skip Bayless has a lot of hope at the moment, but they're just an offensive colossus. But their defense is ultimately what's going to keep them out of any serious playoff contention. And history as well. The football gods love to laugh at the Cowboys, but they have a very interesting matchup with the Denver Broncos next week. That great defense by the Broncos and that Cowboys offense means that we are in for a hell of a game next week.
Potentially. It depends on the Cowboys offense that comes out.
That's true. And I believe it is in Mile High. Yes, it is.
Oof.
So that's going to be fun. That's probably going to be the Fox game of the week, I would expect, but that should be a good one to see. But let's move to the Sunday night primetime game between the Atlanta Falcons and the San Francisco 49ers. And the 49ers, despite all their injuries, beat the Falcons 20-10. And Christian McCaffrey just showing everyone that he's healthy and he is who we thought he is.
Yeah, that when he's healthy, he is clearly the best running back in the league. Return of George Kittle, he played well, but come on, man, you got to give credit where credit is due. Mac Jones is doing exactly what he needs to do to win games.
Mm-hmm.
Dude can play. He's a starting quarterback.
I think this game and the last couple games with Mac Jones kind of proved to everyone a couple years back when he was drafted. The Niners had the 3rd overall pick. They traded up from Miami, and then they picked Trey Lance. And everyone was expecting them to pick Mac Jones. And I think at the time, I think you and I were kind of like surprised, but like we're like, yeah, that's probably the right move to take Trey Lance. Turned out to be the wrong move. And who would have thought that if Mac Jones was with Kyle Shanahan, good shit happens.
Oh my God! Could you imagine
if he was drafted by the Niners?
From
if
then
that
to
was
now?
a different choice, mate, maybe they would have had a Super Bowl. Maybe.
That's a good take.
With, I mean, no disrespect to Brock Purdy. Again, we've talked about Brock Purdy before, and you and I have said like he's great. He's absolutely phenomenal.
He's a very good quarterback, yes.
And I think Mac Jones is proving that he is too. But he needs to be in the right environment. In a team where the Patriots were collapsing under Bill Belichick, and then ultimately with Gerard Mayo for that 1 year, and then now with Mike Vrabel, it was tough to see Patriots football for like Mac Jones's 2nd through 4th year because he didn't really have a lot of help around him. And not only does he have a lot of help around him talent-wise, but he's under a great coaching
regime
that is going to put their players in the best position to win. And the 49ers prove that. Atlanta, though, what the fuck? I can't make anything of the Falcons.
Right, they're another team where it's like if I was a fan, I'd be fucking pissed. Because this shit would fucking piss me off.
What I'm seeing a pattern of right now, they suck on the road. Simple enough. Like the
I
Falcons
agree. They
absolutely
can't play on
suck
the
on the
road.
road. They were shut out in Carolina. They only scored 10 here in San Fran. They were home in Atlanta when they beat Buffalo. And I'm starting to think that maybe they just like domes. Maybe they just like Atlanta and love that dome environment,
They
but
can't play in the weather. They
they
can't play
can't
in the
play
elements.
they can't play away. And it feels like traveling to play games is really like a hindrance to their success. I don't know. I it's really tough for me to like really pin this down with Atlanta, and I'm sure we're probably going to get into them a little bit more as the year gets on because this is not the Atlanta team. We picked them, both you and I, we picked them to beat San Fran because of that win last week against Buffalo. And it is very,
Right. It's what the fuck.
yeah, what the fuck?
Just what the fuck.
The season is drunk. But let's move to Monday's slate of games with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Detroit Lions, and the Lions beating the Bucks 24-9. I think this was more about the Lions than it was about the Bucks. I expect the Bucks to bounce back, but man, the Lions just showing that they are serious contenders for the Super Bowl this year. They may not get the 15 wins that they did last year, but man, they are contenders. They are absolutely Super Bowl contenders.
This game was hard to watch for me. Watching Mike Evans go down like that,
Yeah, that's right.
knowing that we probably watched Mike Evans' last snap as a pro.
Yeah, that was really tough to see.
You know, he, for those who didn't watch, he took, it was, they're what's called a hospital ball, where it's like you're just put in a really bad spot for a catch.
Mm-hmm.
So he went for the catch. He landed on his head. First of all, the play beforehand, he took a headshot on the sidelines, and nothing was done about it. A lot of people missed that one. The play before, he caught a ball, went to the sidelines. His head was the first thing to hit in the back. Nothing was called. He went back to the huddle, ran it down. The following play was the hospital pass. Diving catch, lands on the side of his head, knocked himself unconscious, and because he was dead weight, he moved and he broke his collarbone in 2 places. Year 11, 10 seasons straight of 1,000 yards, snaps because of an injury. My guess is his career is done. If that's the case, thank you, Mike Evans, for everything you contributed to this league.
Yeah, that was really rough to watch because of just who Mike Evans is as a person, let alone the football player. And to see that scary of an injury on a prime stage, like a national stage, it's tough. And I hope that he does recover well, just to be at a state of being healthy and for his sake. Because if he were to walk away, he would leave a great legacy behind, and there's no shame in that. But again, you and I, we've talked about it before. It's like players need to make the right decisions for them when the time comes, and it's like you look for life outside of football. And for Mike Evans, again, Hall of Famer, absolute Hall of Famer,
Pretty
and
sure this is like the 3rd straight year where he's had a really bad injury, too.
he has, yes. So he's been on the path of like recovery, rehab, playing, injury, recovery, rehab, playing. This is cyclical for him. And I wouldn't blame him if he wanted to walk away because that's, why Andrew Luck walked away. That's why a lot of like players like who just are injured over like throughout a good significant amount of time in their career, it's not worth it. It's not worth to stay. Again, there's life after football.
That's the truth.
But let's move to the final game Monday night with the Houston Texans and the Seattle Seahawks, and Sam Darnold and the Seahawks getting it done 27-19. Sam Darnold, are the Seahawks serious contenders in the NFC?
Maybe wild card contenders. The NFC is pretty strong, pretty tight. They keep winning games they need to. This game was this game could be considered a must win because of where we're at now at the point of the season. But the Texans, man, they are in such disarray. It's like they totally reverted back to their old ways where they just don't know how to steal a win. They just aren't playing well at all. We will have to dive into them to see what's going on, but I don't think anyone saw the Texans coming out this slow.
No, and it's really their offensive woes because defensively they're
playing
putting up
really well.
They're putting up great numbers, and despite Seattle putting 27 on them, there's like Will Anderson is having a monster year, and that whole defense is great. And it's a shame that their offense can't meet them at the same level or even close to the same level. And
It's the
they're
J.J. Watt era all over again.
It's pretty much. It's like great defense, inept offense, and the rest of your division. There's just going to be a team that's better than you, just one, and it rotates every year in the AFC South. It's Sometimes it's the Titans' turn when they were good with Vrabel. It was the Texans' turn when Deshaun Watson was there and C.J. Stroud the last couple years. It's the Colts' turn now because the Colts are the big dogs, not only in the AFC South, but in the AFC in general. So,
Right.
Texans, you are falling very behind in a division that is starting to separate by some serious contenders, which is crazy to say.
Yeah. The AFC South isn't as poor as it used to be by any means.
And the Jags are playing well too, despite losing
They're winning
last week.
games,
Yeah,
but they're still winning
looking
games.
good. Like again, despite being blown out by the Rams, we know how good the Rams are, but we know how good the Jags can be. So AFC
Right.
South, we'll have to keep an eye on all those teams going forward, and even the Titans too. But that was our week 7 recap. This we had a lot of great games this past week, but we have a lot of great games this week too. And I I wanted to start by talking about one game that I was had my sights set on for weeks, and that was the Ravens Bears. And CP, you mind if I just take this at the helm?
I've been waiting for this.
Okay, so I expect Lamar to play, which means I expect them to win. But man, it has been so painful to watch the Ravens this year for everything. For their offense, defense, it has been rough. Granted, I will say the Rams Ravens game was actually better than I thought it would be because I thought the Rams were going to put 30 on us. And the fact that they only gave up 17 kind of gives me hope now. But the thing is, though, we're 1-5, and we did this to ourselves. And the bye week should be a week where we get everything right, look at the film, and understand what the fuck is wrong with us because we know we can be better than this. We said throughout the seasons, like they have a talented roster, both offensively and defensively. But man, the injuries are not really an excuse for team success, right? Because with Lamar, again, we were averaging 37 points a game this season with Lamar. We averaged 6 in the 2 games without him. And this is not anything new because we've seen the Ravens without Lamar in the Lamar era for like a couple years. Like he has gotten injured at the end of 2022 and 2021, he got injured there. Again, this team is Lamar Jackson, and we will go as far as he takes us. But we saw this year that that's not necessarily true because he could take us to 40 points and we'll give up 41. We could try to score 30 points against the Lions, but we gave up 38 and on the ground over 200 yards rushing. Teams are just having their way, and that's why it's been so tough to see because it seems like they are as bad as like the worst defenses we've seen like last year. And it's like, man, it's just night and day. It's crazy. I know I've been reading a lot of different articles. There's a lot to blame with that. A lot of Ravens fans typically are blaming not only Harbaugh but also the defensive coordinator and Zach Orr. I don't know if this is really on Zach Orr because it just seems like everyone's late. Everyone just seems late. And even watching in person, it's just you can kind of see the open man before the defender sees the open man, and it's tough. But man, the season comes to this in Baltimore against Chicago, and then even if we are to win this, the season comes to the week after, and we are basically in sudden death mode. There's so much riding on this game for the Ravens, and the Bears. They look good. They look really good, and they look as good as they did last year at the start of the season. Before they just lost all those games. They were 4-2 last year, and then they had that heartbreaker against Washington, and then they just weren't the same team. And then the whole course of the season just changes from there, from a certain moment, from a specific moment. And I'm hoping for the Ravens, we find that moment and it changes the course of our season. We need to be giving Henry the ball, period. We need to make sure Lamar is able to do what Lamar does. And we got to make sure that everyone understands their responsibilities on defense. But again, this is sudden death. And this is the first game of sudden death for the Ravens.
Very well said. Now, I have to disagree with you. It does fall on the feet of your defensive coordinator. While the players are late in the execution of the plays, it is on the coach to have the team conditioned to execute at the pace that you need and hold the team accountable when they aren't. I understand you do walkthroughs on Saturdays, you want to do team meetings, you want to do this, you want to do that. I saw something today that there was a whole bunch of shit taken out of the clubhouse for the Ravens.
Oh yeah,
I'm
that
talking
was week 4.
I'm talking a lot of leisure things that
Yep.
was taken out. So you said that was done week 4? I thought that was just done.
Week 4. It was done 4 weeks ago. Last month when we lost to the Chiefs. That was after we lost to the Chiefs.
The luxuries should not be in the clubhouse. This is where you
I
come to
completely
work.
agree.
Of all teams, the one team that everyone expected to be primed and ready without a single... We said it last year. The Ravens have no excuse. There's no excuse right now why they shouldn't be 5-1 versus 1-5.
But there's a lot of reasons why they are.
A lot of reasons why they are, but there's no excuses why they shouldn't be.
Exactly.
All the pieces are in the right places. All the plays are in the right play called places. It's the decisions from the coaches during the week that are leading to the downfall of the players at the end. Now, you and I have both spoken about Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry to nauseam. Both love their pros, but we can't help but look at the cons as well. And the two of them, both of their kryptonites are hitting at the same time right now. Lamar Jackson's kryptonite is his own emotions. He gets frustrated, so he starts playing frustrated. And that's been happening for a couple weeks. Shit goes wrong, he can't get past the adversity of it. All the while, Derrick Henry, his kryptonite, while it's also his strength, it is also his weakness. It is contact. You initiate, we've been saying it for years, you initiate contact with him, you're probably making the tackle at the point of attack. You let him get an extra step, he's going to make it to the second level. But if you catch him at the line of scrimmage, it does not matter how many times you hold the ball. You can give him the ball 30 times. You stop him 17 times at the line of scrimmage, he is going to have a terrible night. And that is what is happening. So you got to look at the offensive line now. The offensive line seems to not be able to move. Like you said, this offense flows through Lamar Jackson. Only way Lamar Jackson can flow is with a fluctuating offensive line. So I think that's where the struggle is under the radar. Everyone's looking at Harbaugh. Everyone's looking at Lamar Jackson. Everyone's looking at Derrick Henry. Who's looking at the offensive line and seeing what struggles are there? The defense is the defense. That's its own drawer to open. I'm talking about the offensive side specifically now. Who's looking at the offensive line? Where's their push? If they get no push, Derrick Henry gets no push. If they get no movement up front, Lamar Jackson can't move up front. So who's looking at them?
Back up your point, too. So Lamar's only played 4 games this year. He's been sacked 15.
How many times? Okay, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Yeah. And Cooper Rush has been sacked once. Tyler Huntley, who I saw 2 weeks ago, got sacked 4 times. And you're right. Our offensive line is struggling. They can't create running lanes and they can't protect, which is what they need to do. And again, they have the talent to do so. Ronnie Stanley is an all-pro. Tyler Linderbaum is a stout center. Our guards, we've been rotating our guards for a while. It's been Falele, and I alternate between Ben Cleveland and like Voorhees and stuff. So, our guards are very like in rotation. But again, they need to know their assignments. There needs to be communication, right? As we said before, there needs to be communication at the line to know whose responsibility is whose. And like we even said earlier, too, that's the quarterback's responsibility to make sure that everyone understands their assignments. Lamar's been in this league for 8 years now. He's a vet.
So
he should know.
The only time
know who
once the play is made and the line of scrimmage is made and the line is, I don't mean to cut you off. Once the line is on, the calls on who to block is based on who is lined up where. So let's say I'm a guard, right? I have the guy that's head up to my outside shoulder. If he's inside me, that's the guy next to me, Sky. So it's amongst the offensive line to coordinate amongst themselves who gets who once they're there and before they're set. So that was it. Sorry.
Okay. No. You're right, and you're absolutely right. But if there's a blitzer, Lamar's got to call that out too. He's got to
absolutely.
Sure
he has to call that, especially the offensive line doesn't see it.
He has to call that exactly.
100%.
So it's a team effort. Everyone needs to be communicating with each other, and I think again a lot of the things that really hinder the Ravens right now is the decision making. And we said it earlier in this episode, right, with Nick Sirianni, right? If you're green lighting your offensive coordinator and your offense has been struggling, that's not the head coach. You said it with Matt Canada and Mike Tomlin. No excuse for John Harbaugh and Zach Orr. If he's greenlighting what Zach Orr is cooking up, then That's on Harbaugh, and he does need to be responsible for that. And what's really killer is, again, the decision making. When again, the few things, like I said last week, when I watched them in person, why are we going for a tush push on second and third down at the half-yard line? It's the, again, decision making here that's, again, not putting the team to success. We're not communicating on offense or defense, right? Roquan's not really being vocal
He's
out
not being
there.
the leader that they know he is.
Yeah, and it's it's tough. And it's right now we sit at sudden death, and the Bears are, because I don't want to make this all about the Ravens right now. The Bears are like, they're no slouches. They're going to come in after being very opportunistic against the Saints, picking Spencer Rattler off 3 times. If the Ravens really have blood in the water, the Bears are going to take that, and they're feeling good about themselves. So it's which Ravens team comes out, the team that we've seen for the last couple weeks, or are we going to see a new team refresh? And I don't think it's either or. I think we'll probably find something somewhere in the middle between that. But even somewhere in the middle between that, that gives me somewhat hope, because it has been bad football in Baltimore for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, but that defense, I've been saying it for a couple of years now, that defense is ready to win games in Chicago. And that offense is finally on the right page.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you and I kind of disagreed a couple of years ago about that Chicago defense. I was saying they have some pieces and they're fucking ready to win games. That defense is gnarly. They have a bunch of journeymen that are ready to win, and they're swarming. They're fucking unbelievable tacklers in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Saw that shit
And
2 years ago, that
yeah.
they had some true animals on that defense.
Mm-hmm.
And now with their offense finally on the same page, this could potentially turn into a scary situation for Baltimore. Truly, it really could.
It very well could, because there's 2 players on that Chicago defense that have really haunted Lamar for a while. They're 2 players from 2 different teams that has played Lamar at the most crucial of moments and has made plays against Lamar in these crucial moments. And that's their middle linebacker, Terrell Edmonds, who was a former Buffalo Bill, and their safety, who I forgot was on here, Kevin Byard, former Tennessee Titan, and he is actually leading Chicago in interceptions so far this year with 4. He's got 4 interceptions, and he's, again, great player. But these 2 together in Chicago seems to be the right move, and they seem to be gelling great, and which is great for Chicago because it makes the NFC North a lot more interesting. It's not great for Baltimore because these guys have played the Ravens multiple times, and they have all the knowledge on how to beat us. So I think right now, as much as I believe that we can win this game if Lamar's playing. If Lamar's not playing, we're not winning this game, flat out. But if Lamar's playing, I think we can win this game, because there's certain things with Chicago that can really disrupt them. And right now, the number is 11. Caleb Williams has been sacked 11 times this year so far. That's pretty good in comparison to last year, where he was sacked 63 times throughout the season. To be sacked only 11, and it's almost halfway through the season, that's better. That's actually relatively better. He actually has a pocket.
Pretty on par.
Yeah, so like he actually has a pocket that he's able to play football with. Who would have thought, right? Who would have thought? Keeping the playbook simple. It's like, look, Rome Odunze, he's actually emerging as a great wide receiver, and him and Caleb have some great chemistry. Rome Odunze has 24 receptions with 450 yards, and he's looking good. I gotta say, they look really good. And then DeAndre Swift, killing it. Absolutely killing it. And we've spoke about how great DeAndre Swift has been for a while now, whether he was on the Lions, when we first started the podcast, when he was on the Eagles, we said he looked great, and then he moved to Chicago. It's like, last year wasn't that good, but this year, oh my God, he is resurging again in Chicago. And it took them a slow start for the Bears, right? They were 0-2 to start the season, but that get right game against the Cowboys is what really kind of propelled them up, because they were like, oh, we understand the capabilities of our offense. And I got to give credit to Caleb Williams. He's really starting to understand Ben Johnson's schemes and concepts right now. But as we've seen with Ben Johnson with Detroit, he's going to want to run the ball first and really want to get the best out of his running backs because that puts his quarterback in the best situation. Right now, Caleb is looking a lot better than he did last year. 61 completion percentage, still needs to work on that, but they look cleaner. And it seems that it took them a little while to get into gear, but they really found a good niche where it's like, okay, we're a run first team. Run first, give Caleb a good give him his shots, let him find the receivers, and then we're gonna play solid defense with a solid defense. And they look good. And again, it's not going to be easy for the Ravens. It's not, because there's a lot of great young guys. And if we've been looking late the whole season, they're going to fly past us.
Yeah, and that's with or without Lamar Jackson on the field. Like,
Yep.
they're going to cause him fits, and he's going to have to mentally keep it under control if he even plays. I understand you said he had a full practice today, but he needs to have a full week of practice. He's had off for 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
3 weeks, from a strained hamstring. So got to come back, and you have to be on your A game. And I mean, everybody in Baltimore needs to be ready to play, because apparently the Chicago team's ready to win. They're ready to win football games, and if you're not ready to hold them back, they are going to cause fits, and that's what they're clearly built to do. It's just be a problem for everybody.
So, I mean, again, for the Ravens, it's not an easy task by any stretch of the imagination. But if we are to make the playoffs, playoff mode happens now. Plain and simple. Every game from here on out is a playoff game for us, and we have to treat it as such. And if we are able to recover this season, it's still not good enough just to make the playoffs. Because, again, they had Super Bowl aspirations for the beginning of the year. If we are able to make the playoffs, look, it's going to be hard, but at some point we're going to prove something to ourselves, saying like, oh, look, we can be that team that everyone expected us to be. It's a very heavy burden to have high expectations, right? But I think Ray Lewis said it, where it's like, it's a blessing to have that burden, or something to that effect, where it's like, to have that burden of expectation, that's a blessing. And it's, again, we could do it. But if the Bears beat us, man, we fall to 1-6. Oh boy, Harbaugh's seat is going to look very hot, because I think that even the general thought is this team is talented. We've seen it in years past. It's pretty much almost the same roster. Why are they struggling as much? It's, again, the decision making by Harbaugh that's going to really fuck them up. But again, like you and I spoke about, I think it was like last week or the week before, I'd personally just still keep him, because who else is going to be better than him?
Well, it's the same conversation with Mike Tomlin, right? It's who would be better. Well, that's an argument. It's you want.
That's a take.
You would. That is a hot take. I don't think that would ever happen.
There
would never be a full table swap.
Imagine,
but if you were to think about a healthy divorce where both teams benefited of a team that needs the concepts of what Harbaugh brings to the table as a head coach, right? And then you look at your needs as a team. What coach comes to mind, hypothetically, in your mind?
What, to replace Harbaugh?
Yeah, like where it would be a healthy swap for both teams. For the Steelers, I thought about it hypothetically, and in my mind, it was Kyle Shanahan for Pittsburgh, where both teams mutually would benefit.
My mind goes to Sean McVay, because he gets the best out of his players. And the Ravens have always been a player-driven organization, and Sean McVay is a player-driven coach. I mean, Kyle Shanahan would be a good fit in Pittsburgh. That'd be pretty nice to see.
He'd be a good step on the gas pedal for offense, where Mike Tomlin would go to San Francisco and be like, we need to pull the reins back a little bit and control ourselves. So it would be like a mutually beneficial for both teams if that were to be a thing.
It's crazy too, because it's like, that's like the best case scenario, right? Where it's like,
right, always best case scenarios.
Caliber, right? To then come in, replace the coach, and then everything just fits like a glove, and it's an easy transition. But we've also seen
it's never like that.
It's never like that. That's the thing. It's never like that, because we've seen teams go from like, from great coach to, they are a shell of what they used to be, and it's tough.
Best example is San Fran when Jim Harbaugh left. He left that team, and they fucking imploded on themselves.
Yeah, those dark years between Jim Harbaugh and Kyle Shanahan, that was a dark times in San Francisco. But again, there's a lot of them too, and it's going to like having the right coach matters, and that's why we see that not every coach is fit for their team, or sometimes their message just gets worn out. We've seen it over time. Again, with probably John Harbaugh and Mike Tomlin. That's probably the long strain of time of them just being there and being consistent of being who they are, right? But we've also seen it burn out in other coaches. Check this season in Miami, where they're burned out with Mike McDaniel, and it's sometimes like the how the players are on the field reflects how they are coached off the field, because they're
Well,
taking those snaps and they're taking those watching that film with the coach, with the coaches, and trying to understand it. And it's like we've said with Mike Tomlin, sometimes the message just gets a little strained over time.
well, yeah, there's a great quote from an unbelievable movie, Remember the Titans. Its attitude reflects leadership.
Mm-hmm.
So the attitude on the field reflects the leadership of what's happening in the locker room.
Which is so
So
true.
if it's dull, it's muted, there's a lot of tension on the field. You can see it amongst the players where they're not doing things together, whatever. That's a trickle down effect. Shit flows downhill. One of my favorite quotes ever. Shit always flows downhill.
Mm-hmm.
So
Which is true.
if leading a message that people aren't clicking with anymore, it's going to show. And I think, unfortunately for both of our teams, that is kind of the area that we're at now, where it's the same old song with just the new regime.
Yep.
And some of the old regime, and the old regime's tired of it, and the new regime sees that the old regime is tired of it.
Yep. It's funny because we've said it before. One of the reasons that we love, the Ravens Steelers rivalry is because both teams are a mirror of each other.
We're
And
one and the same, always.
it's the same side to the same coin. And where it's like sometimes, again, Harbaugh and Tomlin came in at this like around the same time. Tomlin came in a few years before Harbaugh, but they came in around the same time, and they have been there since. They have been the identity of that team since, and that's a lot. That can be a lot for a team. And I mean, like if the success is there, then the regime is going to stay, right? That's why Bill Belichick was in New England for over 20 years because he's had that success for that long. Whereas Harbaugh and Tomlin had success early on and then now find themselves in their own different struggles where Tomlin just can't seem to win a playoff game and their team does not perform the best in the playoffs. And as does the Ravens, where our team does not perform best in the playoffs. Sometimes we forget to run the ball. We struggle at like our identity where it's like, oh yeah, we benefit from running the ball, right? Sometimes, and also our defenses, especially this year, suck. So they are, again, one and the same, which is just crazy to think about. But again, one team is 4-2 and one team is 1-5, and they both deserve to be where they're at right now, for better for worse.
Very well said.
Man, can't wait for that Ravens Steelers game later on this year. Those are going to be good.
It's going to be.
Those are going to be good.
Of course, it's going to be a heart wrench. I'm not looking forward to it because it's going to have a lot riding on it.
Oh yeah, there is. Like there is every year, but I wouldn't have it any other way. But if we are to get to that point, we have to beat Chicago. It all comes back around. See, it all comes back around. But
Fuck.
Shit, Chris Palmer, the lights out.
Lights out. Hold on.
Lights out for Chicago, man. They're done. Ellis, if you're watching this, fuck the Bears. No, I'm just kidding. I respect the Bears, but we just got to beat them, and I hope we do.
Let there be light.
Let there be light. They brought the light, baby.
Sorry about that.
I could keep it in if you want, or I could just edit that out.
That's up to you.
We'll figure that out. We'll see. We'll see how it's looking, how funny it is. But CP, and any final thoughts on this game?
This game should have a totally different conversation, but the fact that it's like the clock is striking 12 for Baltimore, but there's still room to grow for Chicago right now is very, very telling.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and I wouldn't put it past the Bears if they beat us, because we are not the team that we've expected us to be. And Chicago, they look a lot better than we expected them to be. So I give them all the credit for establishing themselves as who they are, and it's going to be fun to see. And I hope this is a really good game to watch. But let's move on to the second game that you and I wanted to talk about. and that is the Cleveland Browns and the New England Patriots. And this is the first time that we're talking about both teams. But CP, I know you wanted to discuss this, so tell me what interests you about this game.
Well, at first, when you think about it, you're like, why the fuck are you talking about the Browns, right? And then you look at it, and they are such. If I was a Browns fan, I'd be fucking pissed. I know I've been saying that a lot because they're one of these. That defense is such a talented fucking group. Miles Garrett's unblockable, but the rest of the unit
Mm-hmm.
is fucking great. They don't cause penalties. They don't do fucking shitty things. The problem, of course, in Cleveland is offense. Now, you and I, we like Kevin Stefanski as a coach. When their offensive, seems to be an episode that is really rounding offensive coordinator. When your
Or just
offensive
coordinators in
coordinator
general, but
cannot,
yes.
or coordinators in general, when your offensive coordinator cannot name the active quarterbacks on your roster and he fucking names someone on your practice squad, there's a fucking problem.
Yeah.
So right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Behind him is Shador Sanders. Pretty sure on their practice squad is Jarrett Stidham. When the OC was asked about who was going to get a shot at starting, he mentioned Jarrett Stidham, who's not even a listed player on the 53. That is the offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns.
Nice.
If I was a Browns fan, I'd fucking be so mad because of how the caliber of defense that we've had for year in and year out. Now, I respect Dylan Gabriel. I think he's another good segue quarterback. I don't think he's really a franchise guy in Cleveland. I think they're going to let both of those quarterbacks go, and they're going to go flourish elsewhere, just like every other quarterback they get. Seems to be the Cleveland curse, where they just farm talent for a couple of years, and then they get rid of them. The only one they've seemed to be able to latch their fucking claws into is Myles Garrett.
Well, that's because they gave him a lot of money.
They dangled $40 million in front of his fucking face. So in that regard, he needs to shut his fucking mouth about how they lose consistently. You knew what this was before you signed that fucking contract. You signed that contract, so shut the fuck up. You belong here now, clearly.
Well, he chose to be here. That's the thing. Is like in the offseason, he said, "I want to go to a winning
Right.
franchise."
He made the choice.
And the Browns, yeah, and then he chose.
And they were
money over
like,
that.
here's $40 million. Here's $100 million over the next 5 years. And he was like, yeah, I'll take that.
Oh man, what life would have been like if he went to say Detroit or something like that? Who would have thought? Like,
Could
scared,
you imagine
right?
him in like Minnesota right now?
I would love it. I would love Myles Garrett anywhere other than Cleveland right now.
I'm pretty sure right now Myles Garrett's looking at his contract and being like, going to his manager, like, is there any way we could fucking schmooze our ways out of this? And no, it's shit's probably airtight.
Well, it's not
Airtight.
only airtight, but it's if any other team were to take him, it'd be a lot of money for them to pay out.
Right. Ain't nobody got $100 million over 4 years to pay
That's
right
tough.
now,
Yeah.
unless you're a failing franchise like Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look on the other side of that
Mm-hmm.
line of scrimmage right now in New England. Drake Maye making his argument as a franchise guy in New England.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time ever in Patriots history, they had a quarterback who threw over 20 times and had a 91% completion rate. Let's think about that for a second. Percent. He went 20 of 23. That is an unbelievable game to play last week.
Crazy to think that not even Tom Brady had that that number.
Ever. And that's a man who never played a snap while being mathematically eliminated from the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
First of all, that's a buck wild stat.
I heard that a couple years ago, and I remember I think it was like earlier this week. I was telling someone that because, again, it's just crazy to think about.
But Mike Vrabel has changed the culture of this New England team. Being a former Patriot, it really must help. I'm starting to see a pattern where coaches who were former players on the team that they're coaching, it helps.
Mm-hmm.
Because you remember what they went through. Like, you remember what you went through as a player, so it emulates as a coach. Obviously, Dan Campbell remembers that 0-6 season, so he knows how to go through turmoil.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Vrabel was on those Super Bowl teams. He knows what it takes to win a Super Bowl.
Mike Vrabel.
Correct. He knows what it takes to win a Super Bowl. And he knows what it takes not only to win a Super Bowl, but to win a Super Bowl in New England, in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
He knows what it takes. He knows how long of a grind it's going to be. And this is the system. And this is how it works. I see a very clear-cut emergence coming from New England.
Mm-hmm.
It will not be long until we are talking about New England at the top of the AFC again. they're overproducing this year. I think they're a little ahead of schedule right now. But with Drake, give Drake May a contract extension by the end of his rookie deal. I think it's up next year.
Mm-hmm.
So give it 3-4 years maximum. We will be talking about New England as a top team in the AFC again.
It's coming.
It's
It's coming.
coming, and I don't think, again, you and I spoke about this off air. I don't think NFL fans are prepared for another Patriots team mentally and emotionally, for another Patriots team to be at the level of, let's say, the Chiefs. Whereas you look at them and it's like, oh, they're here and they've awoken and they are again the defenders of the AFC. I don't think anyone wants to be able to say that in a conversation where it's, oh, now we have to beat the Patriots again. Makes you want to throw up in your mouth.
Yep. Yeah, it's like, and we were just over the Patriots, right?
We
It's
just
like
got over
Patriots
this fucking.
they were in 9 straight conference title appearances, and then the Chiefs took their mantle and have been in 7 straight conference title appearances. So the AFC's been run through 2 teams, one being the Patriots, the other being the Chiefs for the last.
And if it goes
15
back to New
years.
England, bro, if it goes back to
Goddamn.
New England,
Now I think that like their expectations, right, are probably a lot different than they're setting their own expectations for themselves. And
they're
will they
the
reach
masters of
those
their own
heights?
fate right now.
Exactly. Will they reach those heights? I mean, they're looking good. I don't think that they'll be as like a dynasty like they were as in under Bill Belichick.
Well, that's
But
hard to say about any team, but
that's hard
yeah,
to say about any team, right? And I think that right now the Patriots, they look really good. And it's crazy too to think that the Patriots didn't take that long to now be good, right? And we've talked about it before, right? Where sometimes like it takes a few seasons for them to get good. I think what separates at least the Patriots from the Browns, the Patriots owner, Robert Kraft, he's a patient man and he's willing to give not only coaches but players their time in the sun and their chance to prove themselves, because he saw that if I can give this kid Tom Brady a chance to prove himself, let's see what happens. If I give this kid Drake May a chance to prove himself, let's see what happens. And it starts at the top, right? Like you said, shit rolls downhill. But Robert Kraft is like he's a smart owner. He understands that's like I need to trust in my coach, understand that there's a coach that's out there that's going to put my team in the best chance to succeed. And what better coach than Mike Vrabel, who has proven himself as a head coach in Tennessee?
well, first of all, he played for me, so I
yeah,
know him.
exactly. So you know him from his as a player, right? But as a head coach, it's like he is a great head coach.
Yeah, for sure.
He understands ball. And whereas the Cleveland Browns owner, Jimmy Haslam, he is not a patient man. He is he wants instant gratification. And that is because of the decisions he's made over the last couple of years. And CP, I just want to toss this at you. What would the Browns be if they never got Deshaun Watson and they stuck with Baker? I would think that
I
they
don't
would be
think.
like with
I
Kevin
don't think they would
Stefanski.
be. I don't think they would be as elevated as you think they would be.
I think with that defense and Baker being who he is now, I mean, granted, I don't like we've talked about before. I don't think he would be the player he is now if he didn't leave Cleveland. But
That's what I'm saying. I
even a
don't
portion of
think.
that, though, he's still like he is the consistency that they need at that position that they have lacked for so long.
So it would be like a butterfly effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
In my mind,
Mm-hmm.
you keep Baker, you'd have to sign him to an extension. Can't keep Kareem Hunt. Can't keep Nick Chubb. Can't keep Myles Garrett. Can't pay them both
Mm-hmm.
because now you have to go and get Baker options. So maybe now you go make a move. You get a big signing receiver who's like an aged wide. Again, you have OBJ at the time. You have Odell Beckham Jr. on the side. You go and you get, let's say you get an aged Devontae Adams, right? Devontae Adams winds up a Cleveland Brown. Gross idea. So maybe it makes them a playoff competitor,
Mm-hmm.
but them getting rid of Baker, if you the owner of the Cleveland Browns, I agree with you. He is not an impatient man, but he clearly does not want instant gratification because he went from 0-16 to a 7-win season
Mm-hmm.
in 1 year. I don't think you can get much more instant than that.
I think
Where
that
we
a lot of that season has a lot to do with Baker.
100. I'm 100% with you. I'm saying
Mm-hmm.
he was the relighting of that pulse in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
But it's how much more can you expect from one person? So your expectations as an owner are unrealistic. You can't. It's the same argument with, let's say, the New York Knicks, the New York Jets, where they expect one person to do it all. Where we're going to sign you and he's going to be the answer. You saw that when the Jets signed Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
We need one piece and then we're a Super Bowl contender.
Mm-hmm.
68 seconds later, he is on the ground out for the season. You saw it again with the Jets. Justin Fields, we just need another quarterback. We need a younger quarterback. They are now 0-7 and they benched him. Tyrod Taylor's time has arrived. Let's be real on that one.
They got rid of Baker, and then they wanted Deshaun Watson because they thought Baker was holding them back.
Which is a ludicrous thought to have.
And
when,
yeah,
again, I've always been on the other side of the fence about the Deshaun Watson debate.
mm-hmm.
He had 2 good years in Houston. And other than that, he was a middle of the road, good, not great quarterback. Baker, early in his career, was showing signs of incredible progression year by year and without much regression. And he was showing signs of an elite quarterback early on. And you and I caught that quick. It took the world to see that he could do a 90-play scoring drive on a team that he just signed with 48 hours prior and didn't even get to read a playbook, being that Rams game. That was when the world looked at Baker Mayfield and was like, holy shit, he can play. You and I saw that his second year in Cleveland, that he had some swagger in his step and that he could play. Do I wonder what the Cleveland Browns would be with him? No, because I don't want to... his career would not... He would not be who he is if he stayed in Cleveland. His career would be cut in half. His career would be cut in half. He'd be known as a bust. It would be a totally different narrative with Baker Mayfield's name.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. And I think that even though he wouldn't be the player that he is now, right, he still would have been a better player than their quarterback situation since they got rid of him. Because it's been a rotating door of...
They've gone through 40 quarterbacks or some shit like that since then?
I mean, not...
Or since the 90s?
Well, yeah, since the 90s, they've cycled through 40 starting quarterbacks. Crazy. But within the last couple of years, there's been probably 8 to 10 quarterbacks that have started for the Browns.
More.
It's probably... I'd probably say closer to 8. But there's been a good amount, right? Flacco's been one of them.
Flacco was one of them.
He did his time. Deshaun played a couple games for them. So, I mean, now they got Dylan Gabriel. That's 3 right off the bat. But, again, there's a lot more. They've just been inconsistent. And I think that, look, Jimmy Haslam thinks that this team is better than they actually are. Now, because when Baker was in his second year, what did he do? He's like, oh, we just need a wide receiver. Gets OBJ. But realistically, that's not... That kind of stunted his career, because that kind of like... I wouldn't say stunted his career, but it's like, if you give a young quarterback a great wide receiver, he's really going to be focusing on that great wide receiver. And it wasn't until OBJ left that Baker really became like and he saw the field open. That's when he became the quarterback that he developed into today. I remember the game that kind of put me on Baker's map was him and Lamar dueled it out. It was Lamar's had to take a shit game.
Right.
And,
right.
And it was a shootout between him and Baker Mayfield. But man, Baker proved it. And it's crazy, too, to think that the Browns, their most success that they'd had in recent times was with Kevin Stefanski and Baker Mayfield making it to the divisional round against the Chiefs. And if they stopped them on 4th down, they would have won that game. But they didn't. Carson Wentz took the slide because Patrick Mahomes was hurt, and then the rest is history. Chiefs, went on. But that was, at that point in time, then Jimmy Haslam's thought, like, oh, we are a Super Bowl contending team. Baker got injured the next couple years, and it's like, well, I want to win a Super Bowl now. Boom, Deshaun Watson. And it's like that impatience by the owner, that one decision changes a whole franchise. Look at John Mara with the New York Giants. That one decision to get rid of Saquon changed the whole franchise. Now, it didn't take long for them to get good, again, because they were patient with Brian Daboll to see his vision through. That's the one good thing that they did, is just keep Daboll, because he's a good coach. But is he the best? No, but he's solid. He's a solid head coach. And Kevin Stefanski, that's the best thing Cleveland could have done, is keeps Kevin Stefanski, because Joe Flacco, like a veteran quarterback who knows what the fuck he's doing, brought them to the playoffs a couple years ago as 11 win team, 11-5. Oh, sorry, 11-6. Who would have fucking thought? But the Browns are not that team, and they are a completely different team now, where it's like offensively, again, that's where they're struggling the most. And now you're giving the reins to rookie quarterbacks. Of course, there's going to be growing pains. Of course it's going to happen. And especially when it's like it's a tall order for any team right now to like if you don't have your shit together and another team does, good luck. I mean, that's exactly what Cleveland did to Miami last week. Cleveland doesn't have their shit together, but they have their shit together more than Miami does.
Right.
So it's tough. It's going to be a tough order for the Browns to get the Patriots. But man, where these teams are now really stems from the decisions made by their owners, and more so the patience or lack of patience by these owners.
Yeah, 100%. This is like a tale of two franchises where it's like you have one of the most patient owners with Robert Kraft's, and he knows what it takes to build a legacy because he's gone through two dynasties with the same
Mm-hmm.
crew. And they were just a crew of journeymen and a quarterback who took a career taking pay cuts. And that's the formula: is be patient and let people grow. And on the other side, you have someone who clearly does not understand that message, or just it doesn't correlate with his agenda, where we're gonna piece together what we can and we're gonna go as hard and as fast as we can. It's like doing it the Homer Simpson way, the wrong way but faster. It's max
Browns have
power.
certainly
It's
Browns have certainly been doing
max
the Homer
power in
Simpson way.
Cleveland.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like, nope, you're doing that wrong, but you are fucking doing it at full speed, so we got to give you that at the very least.
I do one thing I will say. I want to give a shout out to their running back Quinston Judkins. He's actually doing work as their running back. He's got like 450 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's doing his part, and he's a rookie. And I got to say, he's looking really good at like running in Cleveland. And there's not many bright spots in Cleveland because it's Cleveland, but there are players there that want to prove themselves, and that's something to be said. Where like a team that is still, despite their record, despite the history of the team, despite the decisions made by owners, the players want to prove that they are, more than capable to step up to the challenge, and the players are who decide the game. And so this is going to be a great matchup between these two teams. They're going to challenge one another exceptionally well. And I expect this to be a great, great chess match between Kevin Stefanski and Mike Vrabel. And they've had their games together before. When Mike Vrabel was in Tennessee, like they've had some really good games. But they both want to establish their brand of football, which is for both of them a very physical brand of football. So for this game, I expect it to be a very physical chess match, and it's going to be so great to see. Just, I guess, New England football again. Maybe not that, but
Again,
it's crazy that if they were to sweep the Bills this year, I think they really send a message. The fact that they beat them the first time was an impressive win, and they really put themselves on the map. If they sweep the Bills and take the division, oh my God, we are in for something.
right. The foreshadowing of what the future holds when it comes to the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if the Patriots come back and they take their seat back from Kansas City, that would be wild.
That would be pretty crazy.
That would be wild to watch, considering all the talent that we have in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
That we've literally been saying that this conference has been jam locked for years, split by half a game.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the Patriots were rebuilding. It takes one season
Under
for them
Mike
to jump
Vrabel.
over teams
Yep.
under Mike Vrabel, to jump over teams that have been in preparation for years. The Chargers, the Ravens, the Bills, the fucking Bengals. Not
Mhm.
this year, but the Bengals, the fucking all these other teams, and it's one season. You go from the bottom of the barrel to, it's like, holy shit, you win 2-3 more games and you win the right time. You are in the conversation for a deep run now.
Mm-hmm. So I want you to circle your calendar for December 14th. That's when the Bills play the Patriots again, and
We will be talking that game.
there's going to be a lot at stake for that game, especially for how both teams are playing, and it seems like it is going to be an inevitable collision. But man, is it going to be so great to see that again, a fierce competitor within your own division, right? It just brings the best out of you.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch.
Absolutely. Any final thoughts on this game, CP?
If that offensive line in New England can just hold Myles Garrett down and just compose him and not let him be an animal, we're gonna see another stellar game from Drake May.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it takes. Give him an extra half a second, and that's it.
Hey, give him a great offensive line, time in the pocket. It brings the best out of any quarterback. Look at Drake May. 75 completion percentage through 7 games so far this year. Crazy, absolutely insane. Uh, he's looking like he doesn't need to be Tom Brady because he's looking more like Drew Brees and just accurate as fuck.
To even be in that conversation
It's impressive.
right now is a lot.
So not only 75 completions, completion percentage, 1,700 yards, 14 touchdowns, and 200 rushing yards. Dark horse MVP? Question mark.
It's unbelievable that right now the MVP conversation is Drake May, Daniel Jones, and probably Mac Jones as well.
I'd put Baker Mayfield ahead of Mac Jones.
Baker Mayfield's ahead of all of them.
Yes.
In my opinion, but
oh yeah,
that's the conversation right now.
Mm-hmm.
Baker Mayfield, Daniel Jones, Drake May, and Mac Jones.
Me personally, I wouldn't put Mac Jones that high, but he is playing exceptionally well in San Francisco. And who knows? Maybe San Fran should have drafted him when they had the 3rd overall pick.
Wow, it's almost like Mac Jones is the best quarterback out of that draft class. Oof.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
It's almost like the kid who beat the generational talent in a championship match means something. Oof. Things to think about.
Things to think about, my friend. Things to think about. So, with that is the second game that you and I wanted to talk this week. We have a lot of great games to talk about, but CP, are you ready to make some picks?
Yeah, man. It's going to be a fun week.
Let's do it. Let's start off Thursday Night Football. Minnesota Vikings come to LA to play the Chargers. Who you got, my friend?
Minnesota, that 3rd down completion cannot go unexcused. And that doesn't change in the course of a week.
This is tough for me, honestly, because how much do I trust Carson Wentz to steer the ship? That's tough, especially with an LA team that they are struggling immensely on 3rd down, and they could really expose themselves if they don't get their shit together. Granted, they have their running backs have been riddled with injury this year, so their run game is exceptionally horrendous. But it's not through any fault of their own. It's just through, everyone's just getting hurt on that side running the ball. But Justin Herbert is fucking slinging the rock, which is crazy to think about. And he's having probably his best year since his rookie year. Crazy to think about. I'll take the Chargers. I think that I'm not too confident in it, but I think that if they are if they have the opportunity to expose their weakness, they also have the opportunity to showcase their strengths. And I think that if they are to showcase their strengths as a very great passing team with Justin Herbert and playing solid defense, they could win this game. So I'll take the Chargers, but hesitantly though. But let's move to Atlanta for Sunday's slate of games where we have the Miami Dolphins coming to play the Atlanta Falcons. CP, does Mike McDaniel save his job in Miami, or do the Falcons win?
I'm going to go ahead and say no, that Atlanta wins this game. Again, don't know what to make of Atlanta. You kind of know what to make of Miami, and it's not much. There's not much good coming out of Miami right now.
Yeah, I'm really interested to start unpacking Miami, especially the regression of Tua. He has been horrendous this year, and it's so many interceptions. So many interceptions that he's throwing. Atlanta's home. I'm going to take Atlanta. If they were away, maybe I'd take Miami because Atlanta is a different team away. But being that, Georgia, 1 o'clock, I'll take it. So let's move to Baltimore. Sudden death game for the Ravens. Bears come to town to play the Ravens. CP, do you take the Bears?
Yes, I do.
I respect it.
Yes, I do. I'm sorry. I
understand. Don't worry, I understand.
There's got to be a lot there for me to be proven otherwise.
Mm-hmm. I don't blame you. Bears are the better team so far. This is Wednesday that we record this. I wish we were making the picks Saturday night. That way I would know if Lamar is playing or not. I have to have faith that he's playing in this game. And you know me, I'm not a man of faith by any means. But I'm going to believe that Lamar is going to be starting this game. And if he is starting this game, then I'm going to have faith that they are going to win this game. So I'll take the Ravens, but goddamn, if Cooper Rush starts, we are fucking losing that game. Okay, let's move to Cincinnati, where the New York Jets don't have a bye, but they come to play the Bengals and Joe Flacco, who is on a fucking tear right now. CP, do the Jets get their first win of the season, or does Joe Flacco just sling it all over them?
I think the paper bags are coming out for the Jets, man. I think the paper bags are coming out. They're going to 0-8. Joe Flacco is going to torch another struggling team on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going Bengals. I'm sorry, Jets. It is hard to say what is looking good in New York because there's a lot of ugly in New York right now.
It's a lot of ugly and green right now.
A lot of ugly right now. So I'll take Joe Flacco and the Bengals, but fuck the Bengals. Let's move to Carolina, where the Bills are coming to play the Panthers. CP, who you got for this one?
I almost wanted to talk this game. I was
Mhm.
really torn between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have to give me the Bills at home.
Oh, it's in Carolina.
It's in Carolina. Still gonna have to give me the Bills.
Okay.
But I want to see how Carolina matches up. If it turns into a fist fight like Green Bay, Arizona was last week, that could be a conversation piece for Carolina.
Mm-hmm. I want to see Carolina run the ball with Chuba Hubbard a lot. I want to see them really establish a ground game because that is going to really dictate how this game is going to be played.
Well, they also have another running back right now. So they have like a tandem spot starting.
But Chuba Hubbard's been on a good, been having a great season so far this year. But they are doing a great job at running the ball with two.
Rico Dowdle, the rookie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
The rookie
former
Rico
Cowboy.
Dowdle.
That's right.
Um,
Okay.
Last week he had 17 rush attempts for 75 yards, and Chuba Hubbard had 13 for 45 or something. So they could have the emergence of a two-headed beast.
I'd like to see that. And I think
That would be
again,
interesting.
the Bills' run defense isn't that great. If the Bills had a weakness, it's their defense. But man, Carolina, let's see if you got some fight. I'm taking the Bills, but I think this could be a very close scoring game, and I'd be all for that.
Be interesting.
Okay, let's move to Houston, where we have the Niners and the Houston Texans. I'm going to take Big Mac, honestly. I think despite their injuries, 49ers are playing well, man. I'll take the Niners.
I'm going to take the Niners. The Texans look like they are in total disarray still.
Mm-hmm.
It's upsetting to watch in Houston right now. But listen, I like Mac Jones. There's a reason why he started over Tua and Jalen Hurts in college. I just want that one to be known.
Alabama, baby. Roll Tide.
And he was the quarterback in front of Derrick Henry on that team. That team was disgusting.
Yep. Absolutely nasty under Nick Saban. Disgusting. Man, let's move to New England. We were talking about Browns Patriots. CP, don't be sleeping on me, my friend. Who you got, Browns or Patriots?
You're going to give me the Patriots. I can't see both of our division rivals winning on the same weekend.
Yeah, that'd be a tough one. I'll take the Patriots as well. I think that they're really establishing themselves as who they are, and Drake May is playing at an exceptionally high level right now. I'll take the Patriots to beat the Browns. Okay, let's move to Philadelphia, where the Giants come to town to play the Eagles. So this is the second time they're playing each other in 3 weeks. Crazy. Giants coming to Philly. CP, who you got for this?
This is interesting.
Mm-hmm. Especially being that it's not that far since they played each other last.
I think I'm going to have to go with the Giants.
Okay.
I think there's more energy in that locker room for the Giants than there is for the Eagles right now.
I mean, Giants are riding high despite having that loss, right? But man, they really flattened in that loss. They deflated in the fourth quarter when it mattered the most. Multiple errors by multiple players on multiple different sides of the ball. Offense, defense, and special teams. That as a Giants fan, that must have been tough to see. Granted, I understand. I'm a fucking Ravens fan. We gave up a 15-point lead in the first game. You guys gave up an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter. That's tough. But you had the chance to win, come back and win it. But wasn't meant to be. I'm taking the Eagles. It's hard to sweep a division rival. And I think that being that the Eagles won the last week by passing the ball exceptionally well, I think they're going to try to look to do the same this week against the Giants. So I'll take the Eagles. Let's move to New Orleans, where we have the Bucks coming to play the Saints. A very injured Bucks team, but CP, who you got?
I think you're going to have to give me the Bucks on this one. Saints have no pulse.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to have to see what type of Buccaneers team comes out after that injury to Mike Evans. We've seen countless times. You can even look at it in Houston, what happens when a key focal point receiver goes down. Some teams don't recover.
Yeah. I mean, look at Houston with the absence of Tank Dell. They're a completely different offense without him. So it is tough. I want to just say, so taking the Mike Evans injury aside for a second, for the Bucks to only have scored 9 points last week, with how well they've been playing the weeks prior, they should be able to do more. Despite being very, very injured, you still have a great depth of talent on both sides of the ball. I'm going to take the Bucks, but something's telling me the Saints might have a chance this game. I don't know.
Mm,
It could be a trap game for the Bucks.
that would
Um,
be interesting.
it would be very interesting. So, but I'll take them. I think they'll bounce back. Let's move to Indianapolis. Do we have a trap game with the Titans and the Colts? Or Indy just going to steamroll them?
Come on, dude. If the Titans trapped the Colts, this would be the drunkest season of all time.
It could happen. It
I understand any given Sunday,
Any
but
given
I don't
Sunday.
see it happening. You have to give me the Colts. I don't see the Titans trapping them right now. I think the Colts are off to the races right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Colts as well. Again, we've talked Tennessee a little bit, and they're just offensively, they're just so inept. And right now, the Colts are flourishing with Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones. So I'll take the Colts, just steamroll the Titans. But anything can happen divisional games, my friend. But let's move to Denver, where we have a great game between the Cowboys and the Broncos. CP, who you got for this one?
You have to give me Denver. I got to go with that defense. That defense is going to cause mayhem for Dak Prescott. Just like with the Giants, that defense is the hardest defense he may have to face all year.
It is going to be a very tough challenge for the Cowboys, but I think they're up for the challenge. I'm taking the Cowboys over the Broncos. I think, again, I am still really impressed with Dak Prescott. And maybe I forgot his name when we were just talking MVP candidates, but I'd put him there too because he's playing exceptionally. The team would not be have any semblance of life if it was if it was a different quarterback in Dallas.
I can agree with that.
So that should be a really good game. As should the Sunday night primetime game. And I'm surprised you didn't want to talk this one, my friend, between the Packers and the Steelers. Of course, they had to put this game on primetime because Aaron Rodgers coming to play his former team in the Packers. This one is tough. But CP, who you got for this one?
First of all, whoever fucking marketed this game to have two teams play each other with fucking gold helmets, you're a fucking retard. We're going in with our soccer uniform looking uniforms this week. The ones that like emulate the ones from the 30s,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
the ugly ones.
The uglies.
Yeah, we have our gold helmets going up against. They're just wearing their regular away uniforms. So the Packers gold helmets. You're fucking retarded. Give me the Steelers, but it's like, come on. Please don't do nothing fucking stupid that can lead us to lose this game.
So I'm actually torn on this because I like Mike Tomlin at home after a loss. I think that Tomlin has shown over the years that he's a very resilient head coach after losing a game, especially a very, close game too, because it was a great shootout between Aaron Rodgers and Joe Flacco. For the Packers, I want to know what Packers team comes out. Is it the team that's buttoned up that we've seen them to be that looks great, right, on both sides of the ball? Or is Jordan Love going to channel his inner Brett Favre and throw for fucking 2 to 3 picks and really cost them the game? He's more Favre than Rodgers, which is crazy to think about, but he's still a really good quarterback. I'm really torn on this. I'm going to take the Packers only because I didn't like what I saw with that Steelers defense. Not only last week, but throughout the course of the year.
All year. Right now, we
yeah.
average 31 points against every
And
game.
It's going to be tough with a very young, explosive offense and trying to stop Josh Jacobs, man. That's a tall order.
Key matchup, Broderick Jones versus Michael Parsons.
I'm taking Parsons all day on that one.
Key matchup.
Absolutely it is. So that should be a great one. And so should the Monday night game as well, be with the Washington Commanders taking on the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. Man, this is going to be a rocking game. CP, who you got?
Give me the Chiefs. I think it's game on from here for them.
Yeah, look, if Washington wants to prove that they can be that team that they were last year and win 12 games like they did last year, you get when the challenge is tough, the tough answer back. But God damn, this is going to be an uphill battle for them. I'm going to take the Chiefs to beat the Commanders. It's tough for anyone to play in Arrowhead. Also,
especially when the gears are moving.
Absolutely. Also, I forgot to say at the beginning of this, our records last week, you went 10-5 and I went 13-2. And we do have 6 teams on the bye this week. The Cardinals, the Lions, the Jags, the Raiders, the Rams, and the Seahawks all have byes this week.
Well, there you have it, guys. There's our picks for the week. There's the 2 games we wanted to talk. Going to be a fun week this week. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you want to come on for an interview, please contact either John or myself for the rest of the year. we have openings for the entirety of the season. But until then, trade deadline coming up, there's a lot of things to talking about and a lot of teams that need a lot of unpacking.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks, guys.